for service, internet service, fast, reliable service. For your home and your office, unlimited service with the best coverage. You better choose Connect. 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 Choose Connect. 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 Choose Connect. 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 Choose Connect.
Do you need a car?
Ready for an upgrade?
Then come to Sika Motors, sole distributors of Toyota vehicles, Mitsubishi vehicles, and Yamaha motorbikes, genuine accessories and spare parts.
You name it, we have it. We have the 2022 brands of Toyota vehicles. Select from our new Toyota Starlight,
Toyota Belter, Toyota Rush.
We've got the best deal in town through our Sika Motors financing schemes with selected banks, EcoBank Liberia and UBA Liberia, starting at the lowest as $500 USD. You won't believe these prices. Come for quality, reliability, and durability. Take a spin and let's make a deal.
Sika Motors on the UN Drive at Sayotown, Bushra Island, or call Sika Motors on +231 775 987 758 or email cmarketing@cfao.com. Sika Motors, drive with confidence.
Whisperers linger, they carve through the night. Echoes of choices that dimmed my light.
Indeed, R. Kelly.
In shadows, my mind's amazed.
This is the OK Conversation.
Silence through endless haze. A weight on my chest, it pulls me below. A storm in my soul when no calm will show. I built these walls, but they're crumbling thin. A quiet scream buried deep within. My soul cries out like wings bound in pain, yearning for freedom to feel whole again. Oh Savior, hear me, I'm lost in this fight. Bring your calm to my chaos, your peace to my night.
Come into my chaos, a peace to my night. Yeah. Let's put that down as we rumble into the issues. A whole lot has been happening. Share the video. Invite others to join in right here, right now. We're anticipating the YouTube link. We'll share it as well. You can follow via YouTube. I believe the counter meet should be continuing on tomorrow. For some reason they say our second game is Grand Bassa, but we will try to we try to do with them. We try to do with them. Yeah, it's not easy, but we try to do with them. But we'll see what works on tomorrow. Now, we will deal with them. We will deal with Bassa. The World Bank's Vice President for West Central Africa, Usman Diagana, and delegation. They're currently in Liberia. They've been visiting different people. We'll try to know. The government has opened the book of condolence in honor of fallen Nimba County Senator Prince White Johnson. A whole lot of high-ranking officials have signed that. Opposition figures as well. They have signed that. We also know that the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia is appealing to the government. You all remember I spoke about that months ago, that there's 20 million United States dollars worth of military equipment donated to the armed forces of Liberia by the African Union. These equipment are yet to come to country because the government has not been able to provide at least $1.3 million for their transportation from Cameroon. Other countries have done. They've transported or are transporting theirs, including the Ivory Coast and Sierra Leone. But for Liberia, we are still in a state of not touching it yet. And the equipment, they are just there. Anybody could take. As time passes by, it's almost going to a year now. We'll see if the government will heed that call from the armed forces of Liberia. Let me read you something from the Daily Observer. You know. In a troubling development for press freedom in Liberia, Daily Observer Managing Director by S.G. Best and reporter David A. Yates have endured threats, detention, and coercion at the hands of the Liberia National Police following their reporting on the death of the Boulevard Palace Hotel's manager, General Manager Anwar Footlow. Despite delivering a formal complaint to Inspector General Gregory Como on January 8, 2025, the police leadership has yet to respond, while the journalists continue to face intense interrogation. The ordeal began on January 6 when the journalists were invited to the LMP headquarters by Deputy Inspector General Simeon Frank, ostensibly to discuss the Daily Observer's online report on the death of the hotel manager. However, what unfolded was an egregious abuse of authority. Frank, in the presence of his staff, threatened the journalists, stating he would have arrested them if they had not complied with his invitation. I asked him, why would you even consider arresting a journalist for a story they published? Recounted Best in his letter to Inspector General Coleman. Instead of engaging in a professional dialogue, DIG Frank accused the Daily Observer of derailing his investigation and dismissed the journalist's rights to pursue an independent inquiry into the death, which they suspect could be a homicide. Coercion and detention under the guise of an inquiry. Best and Yates were subjected to hours of detention and coercion under DIG Frank's directive. They were held in the office of Investigator Vanny Summer, where Yates was required to fill out a form labeling him as a person of interest and to write a statement without legal counsel present. Attempts to consult their lawyers were delayed as the attorney was in court at the time. Matters escalated when Summer presented a stack of papers resembling the Daily Observer's story and demanded Yates sign each page to attest to its authorship. We refused, as we could not verify where the printout originated or whether it had been altered, said Best. DIG Frank later insisted they produce a printout of the story themselves, leading to an absurd sequence in which the journalists were escorted to another office to facilitate the request. After enduring hours of intimidation and unsubstantiated demands, the journalists were only allowed to leave after Best was coerced into signing a release note guaranteeing Yates' return for further questioning. The release note was classified as a police document, and Best was prohibited from photographing it for his records, a restriction he described as deeply concerning and opaque. From person of interest to suspect. The harassment did not end there. On January 9, Yates and Best returned to the LMP headquarters with their lawyer, Councillor Frank Nimley, only to face more delays and opaque procedures. Yates was handed a questionnaire but was not allowed to consult with his lawyer while completing it. To their shock, Yates' designation on the questionnaire was later changed from person of interest to suspect without explanation. This sudden shift was alarming, said Best. It underscores the hostile environment in which we were forced to operate and raises serious concerns about entrapment Each response Yates provided was reviewed by Frank's office before the interrogation could continue, prolonging the ordeal. After over an hour of this tedious process, Councillor Nimlin intervened, convincing the investigators to release them for the day. They were instructed to return yet again on Tuesday, January 14. The Daily Observer's team's ordeal exemplifies a worrying trend of state harassment of journalists in Liberia. This is not about cooperation, it's about intimidation, Best asserted. The LMP's actions undermine the role of the press as a watchdog. Instead of working with us to uncover the truth, they've turned us into targets. Best's former complaint to Inspector General Coleman demands accountability for Frank's actions, including a written apology and assurances that such treatment will not recur. However, as of the publication of this story, there has been no response from the Inspector General's office, leaving the journalists in a state of uncertainty. We've also been trying to reach out. We're not getting word out of them on this particular matter and other matters relative to it. But it is really, really interesting. We'll not say anything now. We'll still continue to make efforts. If by tomorrow we cannot hear from them on this matter, then we'll go deeper, you know. But what's happening with police, in police detention, these issues are concerning. Last week, there was a story of a young man. The story of a young man who reportedly may have seen the death of a woman allegedly killed in Lofa County. And him plus other people deemed as persons of interest or suspects, however they were called, were in police detention. And the young man is thought to have allegedly committed suicide. They say they saw him hanging from somewhere up there with his chair. He used his shite to kill himself. And there was outrage in Lofa. I don't know who mentioned the new LIS boss, but he granted an interview denying that he has no connection to it or whatsoever. But these are troubling. This is a young man who could have possibly known what may have happened, who may have seen. And that's why the people went on the rampage, burning some of those places and all of that. Was it the right thing for them to do? No. But when police are taking care of people in a cell, it is their responsibility to ensure that nobody dies. If they are taking care of any area, it is their responsibility to ensure that nobody infiltrates to cause mayhem. So that situation is there. The Boulevard Palace incident is also here. Cloudy, very cloudy circumstances. Up to present, we do not know exactly what is happening. So some of these issues, including the one with Tom Etheridge in this fire incident, will speak with our man later, because it is very important for us to bring these issues to the public glare. These issues that relate to rule of law do not augur well for the government. They don't. The kinds of reports that have been coming up, whether it was from King Jaw, whether it was how police dealt with certain situations, protesters, whether it is the incidents that have repeatedly happened up Capitol Hill up to the time we saw fire in a building that was supposed to be protected. The incident in Lofa and many other places, it is concerning. Is this how we want to proceed with rule of law? Is this how it is supposed to be? Well, the verdict is out there. Some media entities, including Spoon, have been going out to different places to speak to people about first year of CDC, first year of the return of UP. What do they see as better? We even had a debate between the youth leaders of the two parties here. I haven't done a poll, but whatever the case is, and whatever anybody thinks which period was better, what is, I believe, unarguable is the two periods still having lifted people out of poverty, a whole lot of people out of poverty, except for perhaps those newly employed in government who may have something doing now. But the existential issues, the existential realities that have held people backward are really yet to be addressed. So you can talk about numbers, you can talk about what somebody inherited and what they did not inherit, what the scale of a problem was and what it wasn't. More Liberians are still poor. More Liberians are still going to bed hungry. More Liberians still cannot afford 3 square meals a day. More Liberians are still going to struggle to send their children to school. More Liberians are still not going to get water. More Liberians are still not going to get electricity. More Liberians are still going to suffer from bad road conditions. And those are the realities. And their actions. For me, that's why I'm not one of those who believes in honeymoon period for government. I always think the way you will start, that's how you will continue and that's how you will end. I always think people should hit the ground running. The things you want to do, you should start doing them from day one. I really do not believe in honeymoon period for a government, especially a country like Liberia that has been way behind, and we gave 6 months, whole year for a government to. So the put just kind of power, you jack critical on them. Oh, Julius, you hate the government. You don't. No. When the child is born and the child starts to talk and they start insulting people, it is the time to deal with them right there and then. So she's just learning how to talk. He's just learning how to talk. And you leave it. They will grow up with it. It will be difficult to change. You see, we can talk about the numbers of how an economy is good and what it is bringing forth and all those kinds of things. I mentioned in the interview with Senator DeLong on yesterday that I watched the interview with CNN. Was it last Thursday or Friday? Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister who is outgoing. And he made a profound analysis about what is giving incumbents tough times in the world now. So economies could be doing well with the numbers. It could be growing and all of that. But the everyday person, this is the Canadian Prime Minister speaking. This is one of the best countries on the planet. You know, very good livelihood. But he is saying, as much as the Canadian economy has been doing well, the problem facing Cubans across the world, including Canada, is the fact that when a person goes to the grocery store to go buy something that they were paying $6 or $7 for, and it is $10 now, They do not care about what economy was and blah, blah, blah. You know? It is about their daily needs. How do you address them? How do you address the existing conditions? You know? So which better? Which is not better? We are living in today. And the actions taken today must be directed towards making the country better for Liberians. Oh, yeah. The exchange rate is going back up. And I can promise you it will continue going up. Even though my other man said it was not going to go up. When it came down to 170, I saw 196 somewhere today. You know, in the draft budget, I've been trying. I don't know whether they haven't uploaded the budget that is passed on the Ministry of Finance website. Before I could come on, I've been checking. But somewhere there in the draft, it is stated that the exchange rate in this 2025 may go, they've projected the LRD to USD exchange rate projection. The government of Liberia in their 2025 draft budget projected the exchange rate in 2025 to go up to 1 USD to 209 Liberian dollars. That is the projection. So you should not be surprised if the rate hits 200 and above. It is a projection. It does not mean it will happen. It may not happen. It could happen. But that's what the government itself is projecting, that the rate could hit 209 Liberian dollars to $1 in this 2025. And by 2026, it could be hitting 211. By 2027, $213.6. 2026, 211.8. In 2028, $215 to $1. And by 2029, 218.3. It could happen. That's the government's own projection. It could go above. It could stay below. But I just want you to know that you should not be surprised when you see it. But I hope they can upload the budget now, because the president has signed it into law, right? That's what the executive mansion reported. So, Ministry of Finance, I don't want to categorically say that you haven't uploaded it. But the places that I know it's supposed to be, I check there, I check everywhere else. I'm not seeing the budget. So we hope it can get there. Especially before I bring Senator Dillon back next week. Okay. Now, yesterday we had Senator Dillon on, and you all know I'm like that. I can critique him. I can say the right things about him. I can critique anybody and say the right things. These things are not personal. The work that we do is not personal. It's that the reality must be spoken, no matter what the backlash will be. And there were very important things we spoke about. One of the things very, very, very crucial to me is the issue of jobs. That's why I frowned and will continue to frown. I frowned and will continue to frown at the Youth and Sports Minister for ever uttering that the creation of jobs is not the government's responsibility. Hi. They can only create environment. No. Nobody has a responsibility in any country to create jobs but the government. How the government does it is always up to the government, but it is a responsibility. No private sector doesn't have responsibility to create jobs. Nobody votes private sector. They vote their government. Say we want jobs. The government will go out. Companies or private sector come in. People in the country will encourage you to invest. We'll give you some stimulus to invest in the country and blah, 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 to create jobs. Government can create jobs. So I'm always particular about jobs. Because when people have something doing that pays them well, a whole lot of things are settled. A whole lot of people that beg, sometimes it is not like they want to do it, but sometimes it's just not there. When people become gainfully employed, it adds value to their life. And this is what God wants all human beings to be, to have some value for themselves. To be able to have their house or rent a house, live at least comfortably, to be able to afford transportation, to send their children to school. So one of the areas we spoke about was jobs. How the ministry said the issue was 8,000 plus permits. Now, when permits are issued, it means the people actually have the jobs. Because it means the person has a job that they want to do. That's why they come to Liberia, so they issue them permit to work. Are you getting it? People do not just get permit and be passing all around. Oh, I get permit in my hand to work. No. They already have something. The job is there. So they go to get the permit to do that job. So 8,000 plus jobs in the country, we can say, are in the hands of foreigners. Are we trying to be xenophobic? No. But every country tries to be protectionistic of its people, especially countries like ours, where a whole lot of us don't have work doing. Or even those who are working, most of us are working poor. Go define working poor. What does working poor mean? You working, but your take-home salary can take you home. That's working poor. Even before the month ends, it's already gone. You're working poor. You have some very good jobs in the hands of different people that Liberians could do. And that is a problem. It is something that has existed for a very long time. And it has to be addressed. Other countries find a way to do it. Why can't we empower our people? Why are we doing this to ourselves? I am being told, even though the Senate said they should put her to all that, but a highly placed source at that ministry, I trust this source, because this source I can't agree plenty. So you see, when someone you can agree plenty and they give you information, then I trust. I trust this. Only a few times we can agree. Plenty times we can agree. The source. The source says Labor Ministry is still issuing work permits outside the Senate instructions. The minister announced last week at MICAT that we have reached 9 million. So they're only interested in generating $9 million from work permit. Yeah, just get work permit. People can't just get work permit. They say, oh, we generated 9 million. But Liberians are passing all around. They don't have jobs to do. And it is not like they're not able to do the jobs that these people are doing. Because that's what the labor law focuses on. Jobs that Liberians can do are available to do. Go to these stores. You just have all these plenty different people. They're just standing up there. But the Liberians are the store boys and the store girls. Even if they sit down behind that thing to serve people, they will be monitored by these guys all over the place. And those people that plenty all in those stores and those different concessions are making by far more money than the Liberians that are there. People are getting rich out of the country called Liberia, but a whole lot of Liberians are struggling to make ends meet. It is a problem that needs to be fixed. And you cannot be giving government 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come to power to fix that kind of problem. And they keep giving excuses and they are issuing work permits all over the place, not solving the problem to give their people jobs, but rather interested in the $1,000 for work permit for someone taking tens of thousands of dollars 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Are we really ready and willing to handle the affairs of this country? We're ready? Well, that is not trending on social media so much. And the one that is trending is the political one. The most important thing, yeah, the other one is important. But in terms of all the things, we also spoke about statute of limitation, to delimit it to 15 years and all those kinds of things. Very important. But if our ranking, all of what we spoke about yesterday, it is this job thing that I put way at the top. Now, I've read a whole lot of social media commentary. People who support the government blasting at the senator, people in the opposition blasting at him too. Others say, oh, it is the thing that we're saying and blah, blah, blah. Others say he's being fake and all of that. And people are right to say what they want to say and judge him how they want to judge him. But I think for some reasons, I think there is some degree of honesty deduced from what he said in terms of his apology to former President Weah. Here is why. I was not the one who asked him about private jet business. One, it was not part of the interview. It is not something we like because I'm the interviewer and I asked, so he had to answer. That's one. Some people only saw that clip, but they don't know how the interview went. So I was not the one. I was not going to ask. It is not like I did not think about it, but I felt it wasn't necessary. Why? Because I have convinced myself that I do not believe it is problematic for a Liberian president to fly a private jet within the sub-region, traveling within Africa, knowing the difficulties of travel. President Weah time, I made that analysis. I was chastised. Those are some of the reasons we were called names and all of that. President Bouaga's time, I made similar analysis because I saw what he went through when he went to Nigeria. So for me, it is a settled matter. Even the people who say, no, it wrong for president to fly a private jet. No. Even the very young, you made him president. No. They will fly private jet. Not because it is bad, but things around presidency are expensive. And for a whole lot of reasons that I stated the other time. So I do not find it a problem. So I did not think I needed to. As much as it absolves some of us of the things that we said yesterday that people insulted us and branded us for, and they are realizing it now, well, I do not do these things with spite and, make analysis and because I catch and say, I used to talk it, then I be gloating all over the place. No, it is my job. I will say it. When it comes to pass, you will see it, and it is up to you to judge it. So I think there was a degree of honesty. Someone called, I think it was Frank Gibson from Paris, who asked the question. Now, he could have chosen not to answer. He could have chosen not to answer the question. Or he could have chosen to find a way around it. So he was not under pressure. He was not forced to, because he didn't answer all the callers' questions. So he could choose to ignore it, to dodge it. So that he chose to answer, even without duress or pressing on him. For me, I sense a level of honesty. And admittance that, okay, I am one of those who critiqued this. And as someone who used it during the campaign, I will have to apologize because I now realize that it is necessary, especially in the sub-region. I think it is honorable. Or is he supposed to continue saying? And here's the other reason that I think there is honesty there. People say because he doesn't want to critique President Boakai. So that's why he said it is okay. No, but in the very interview yesterday, he critiqued President Boakai. Whether it was on the issue of 10 new jobs, it was on the issues of the economy and all of that. He critiqued the president right on this very interview. So he could also, if he still believed that a president flying private jet in the sub-region is wrong, he could have still critiqued it. Because he critiqued the very president on the very show on yesterday. So if he thought it was still wrong, he could have critiqued the president in response to that question. But the fact that he has a change of mind and finds it necessary, so if he decides to apologize and say, okay, I did not see it this way, now I see it this way, I think we should encourage leaders to be that way. Or we just want leaders that will not see anything wrong, anything at all before they will find a way to dribble people and find all kinds of excuses. Is that what we always want in our country? Sometimes a whole lot of people are left adulterated, confused. Very, like, how do you handle situations in Liberia now? He's trying to pave his way for 2029. But Delon is one of those people, no matter what he does, certain people that believe in George Weah will not. Even if George Weah went took Delon, and say, if Delon endorsed George Weah and George Weah talking, plenty of people that support George Weah will still now go for him. He's one of those people that, that is what it is. So sometimes we should encourage leaders to be forthright. It is important. And of course, he takes the pressure off the president, puts it on him by putting himself in the center of it. There's some people who defend the government, say they find a way to say President Boakai, his way of flying private jet better than how do you justify that kind of thing? You trying to make matters worse by trying to find reasons why the other president better than the other president flying private jet. No, that's a pointless waste of time. Sometimes you have to admit that you did not see it this way. And this is how it is now. And I tell you the truth. The presidency is the highest office in the land. That's why I've always pushed for respect for that office. And I also know, certain things about that office will be a little expensive. President will not be like ordinary citizen nowhere on earth. I was watching a video on YouTube about the security organization around the U.S. president when they fly with those planes, and they cost a year of travel is over $350 million. Just the cost of travel with all the security, everything attached to it. You know? So these ones, they are realities. Me, they thought all kind of things when I did these analysis way back. I came back, I still remain the same. So that's it. Let's take some of your calls before we go to our guests shortly. 777-700-995, 555-995. The issues of jobs. Job security for the people. For me, very, very, very important. Addressing the issues of the economy. I hear the arrest agenda will be launched tomorrow. We want to deal with that document next week. You know, we want to jump into it next week when it is launched. Later on, we're going to discuss security matters. Welcome. Let's hear your chances.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon to the people of Liberia. I'm constrained to call this afternoon because of the issue with the interrogation of journalists from the Daily Observer newspaper. And And it just reminds me about the dark days of Joe T in the Charles Taylor government. It sadly means for this kind of democracy that we all champion and campaign for to be running back to the dark days of the past. It's unfortunate that this government, under the watch of Joseph Boakai, a man that we all supported, that the state security will be acting in such a manner. And I'm very disappointed in Gregory Como. Someone with such a high penalty, someone who got a training from the international community, someone with that kind of astute characteristic. Why is he succumbing himself to such a behavior? This is very bad for the country and it's worrisome. And we hope that Gregory Como will realize that whatsoever he's doing is being documented both internationally and locally. That's how sanction come on people and they be asking what the man did. You are committing gross human rights violation. Yesterday, it was Jefferson Kochi. Today, it is Gregory Como, police director. I hope they are following the trends of event. Don't say tomorrow is which one. Because everything you do, we are living in a digital world. People are documenting you.
Okay.
And people are taking record of your activities. It's sad.
Thanks so kindly.
Journalists shouldn't be going through such a treatment in this modern world. Not for that reportage.
Thanks so kindly, Charles. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius, this is Anisha Mate. How are you?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, so quickly, let me say a big thank you to you and also commend Senator Darius DeLong for his bold and honest admission. I listened to him yesterday. I followed the show. And I think there should be a clarion call to Mo Ali, the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, to also come out and honestly admit, because he has been the one justifying the use of private jets by President Joseph Boakai on his phone talk. In fact, laughingly, I have described it like, he says it's like an Uber in the air. We know Uber is not in the air. So whatever way you turn it, I think it's,
the man is calling right away. You mentioned the man.
Yeah, let me call. He has been the one justified, and I'm calling a name because a few days ago I voted for him as the best, managing director. So I'm not scared to call. The last thing I want to stress on is I listened to the police spokeswoman this morning on Clarence's program, and I think there's a fundamental error. But not to take much of the time. Maybe when you bring your rule of law expert, then I can have some time to expand, because there is a disconnect between arresting Edric Thomas for the length of time she admitted to him being arrested versus the time his lawyers are claiming that he's been in police custody or NSA. But I'll wait for the rule of law and then we can expand on it.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's take Mo Ali. Mo, welcome.
So, Julius, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Danishos. I want to tell Danishos, very clear and simple terms. I stand by everything I said. I have absolutely no apology to offer. When I say things, he can go, he's a journalist, and check on things that I said.
The two critique President we have for the usage of...
Let him come back and confront me with some of the facts, and then we can have a discussion from there. He should not just call on the radio and say, call on...
So Mo, the two critique former President we have for flying private jets.
Yeah, is it. When President Weah took over and the issue of the Igbo Magno came about, and there was this issue on a Burkinabe guy, a Burkinabe investor called Bukongo. President Weah said Bukongo was his friend, and that Bukongo gave him a private jet to boost his morale. Tanisha Mate should know that he's a journalist, and everyone in the country heard that. We condemned that, and we said a president receiving a private jet from a country to boost your morale had to be condemned, because we thought it had ulterior motives. And here was the point from which we spoke. Bukongo had interest in the coastal highway that was being pronounced by the former President Weah. The construction of that Bukongo company, we were hearing that he was one of those who were vying for the contract, who was going to bid for the contract.
But there are also claims that one of the private jets used recently by the president belongs to allegedly the brother of the president of Ghana, Mahama, who may have also interest in the mining sector of Liberia. How true is that?
Julius, I do not have the confirmation to that information. Those who are alleging, they could have some kind of fact. It is their right to come out to condemn it if it is true. I'm not stopping anybody from condemning.
Yeah, but similarly, but you also did not have facts because we didn't see Bokongo getting involved in Coastal Highway or doing anything.
This is the difference. This is the difference. We didn't see it. It was President Weah who said it.
Did he say his friend had interest in doing business in Liberia?
Bokongo had expressed interest in the Coastal Highway. In fact, Bokongo was one of those who was running after the Igbo map loan. It wasn't any secret.
Yeah, but how is it? So the private jets being used by the current president, is it the government money being spent? Is it someone giving it to him to use or what?
So Julius, what I know should happen if the president is traveling, it is the government of Liberia's responsibility, particularly if the president is going on official state functions. It is the government of Liberia that should do it. But for example, if the president were going, if the president were going on a private trip, I'm sure the president can use the private money or any other thing. Now, if the president receives a gift that exceeds $200 United States dollars, the president should declare it. That's what I know.
Yeah, so in this case, you are a high-ranking official of government. So I would think if it is true that you provided defense on another show, then it means you have the information to your fingertips that it is the government spending the money for the president to use private jets.
Again, what Danisha Matter is saying is wrong. I said on the show, and it was the spoon talk, anyone can go there and search that particular edition. Stanton asked me, what do you know about this private jet? I said, Stanton, I do not have much information. What I am hearing is that this private jet was hired on a pick and drop basis. Like you come, collect the president and his entourage, carry them, you go, you pay on an hourly basis, and then when they are ready, they call you, you come back, you pick and drop them. And 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later, Stanton came back on his show and said, Mo Ali was right. I have got the cost. This private jet that the president is using is pick and drop, and it is $9,000 per hour. That was Stanton's information, not my information, because I do not have that information. But what he corroborated was the fact that it was a pick and drop. And people on the show that night were calculating. In fact, I wasn't on the show that night. We're calculating how much it would have cost. From here to Accra is 1 hour 30, 1 hour 45 minutes. Basically, they were calculating, okay, the total trip could cost around 2 hours. The moment you put the president down, you go, it could cost around 2 hours. And that 2 hours would be 18,000. And to come back 18,000 and 36,000.
No. What I do know also is that when the plane is coming for you, you are going to pay that cost. You are going to pay the cost for the ground handling and all those kinds of things before travel.
Julius.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this, but what I do know is that they said if you charter the plane on a pick and drop basis, you are not responsible for those ones. And I'm not saying this with 100% certainty because I don't have any information much beyond what I'm giving.
Yeah, but if
you charter the plane, for example, you say I'm chartering this plane for 2-3 days, and the plane comes on the ground and it lands on the airport and it has to sleep there for 1 or 2 days. You handle all of those ones. But again, it is left open to investigation. Danisha Matthias, who is a journalist, can go and investigate that and bring the facts to the fore.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. I think it is all those explanations that Senator Dillon was avoiding, because the more you explain, the more things are going to come. But so what if it was the same thing President William was doing too? Let's take 2 more calls. We go to our guests. Very interesting, right? Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Mama C. Kaba.
Yeah.
You know, Julius, it's so difficult, if not impossible, to defend the wrong. The MD is not saying the truth. The first thing when the president even said that it was his friend that was assisting him, almost all of them said it was a lie. Today, he's hiding behind a friend giving President Weah the plane because he had interest in Liberia and this, and they're going in circle, and at some point, he doesn't know how much it costs. But the truth is, every lie that was carried out against us will prevail, and it's happening now. They said we killed 3 missing boys. They came to power, they did that investigation, they said it was a natural death. They said flying on private jet was bad. Today, they are in circles, stuttering. Some people are apologizing. Small, we will get there, and we are getting there. I basically called to talk about the police image. I think this police, this LMP, Honorable Como, has a very, very negative image, and it needs to be changed. The situation in King John that led to the killing of people, this party headquarters that led to brutalization of partisans, the brutalization of supers when they came out to protest, the brutalization of lawmakers, the intimidation of journalists, the torturing of people, the surreptitious removal of the Guinean national from prison, and today he cannot even be given to his family back. And you just name them, it's just too much. Mr. Coleman, do you want to be remembered for bringing back bad memories to Liberians? Do you want to be remembered for being seen as a negative police director in our country? Do you want to be a police director or a former police director whose children will not be proud to walk on the streets of Monrovia simply because of the bad policing that was practiced by their father?
Okay.
Do you want to be remembered as
thanks
a
so kindly. I
Liberian
gotta go to my
who
guys.
caused chaos in Liberia? I'm not sure that's what you want to be remembered for.
Okay, thanks so kindly, Mama. We'll hold you right there, folks. Sorry, we have to go to our guests. I just want to say this. Anybody who will be president of Liberia, as long as Liberia doesn't have its own plane, that person will fly private jet, especially traveling within the sub-region. That's what I want to tell you people. I want you people to stick it at the back of your head and say Julius talking. My producer cannot get my guess. You know. They will fly private jet, my people. What are they afraid? Sometimes other presidents can send their jets to come for, like Ellington. They used to do it. Sometimes the government will spend some money. Sometimes some of our colleagues in the sub-region will send a plane. Sometimes an investor or whosoever. Someone send it. What are government spend money on? In fact, that the government spending money on second hand, they like bring people more. I remember, it is true. I said, we have I know bought A or you are spending money, and all those kinds of things. Now what is that? You know? How we do it? Okay, he has to come here. So anyway, you turn it around, the president who will be president will fly private jet, my people. And the one that can hell I bring people to say the government spending money. Even if you're trying to dodge okay. okay, it's still gonna hook you. So I just leave that thing. All I want to know is that they don't choose to dodge. They may apologize. I think that's the way to go. You know? And some of us will always say the truth, no matter. Okay, he's on. Okay, I'm being told that, but yeah, when y'all give me a chance, let me see. You know, our first day trying him on here. How do we get him? How do we get him? How do we get him? Okay. Where the producer? Bring the man on, bring the man on, bring the man on. Okay. Alfred, are you on?
Yes, I'm here, Julius.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I gotta start singing now. I can see. Okay. Alfred. Yeah. Welcome again to the OK Conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Speak again. Let me make sure that we're getting you in the system.
You get me?
Yeah, good. Yeah, you speak a little louder and that will be okay. Now, okay, yeah.
Yes, I will speak a little. I'm hearing myself though.
Yeah, I am getting you.
That's fine.
Okay, good. So we are back on this case. Since yesterday we spoke to you, different things have happened. I guess you watched some of the videos of what occurred at the court. Tom, apparently, as we know now, may have been in the hands of both the police and the NSA for some days, and then his lawyers had to get rid of habeas corpus for his living body to be produced. It was produced, and all of that. So far, so good. What can you say?
Well, thank you again for the time, Julius. Are you getting me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me say first of all, like you said, when we spoke yesterday, I could not speak on the subject because I was not informed, and I didn't have much information as it relates to be able to provide an informed opinion or perspective on it. So I did do some reading, and I did watch the interview. The police, I think a police spokeswoman had with Mr. Clarence Jackson this morning. But when it comes to the overall situation, let's understand that in as much as we want to be critical of LMP, we also have to understand that they have a job to do. And if they have evidence, they have to act in accordance with those evidence. The evidence they have. With that said, yesterday incident at the courthouse was a bit concerning. I would discuss it within the context of what we would do. If I have a suspect, if I arrest somebody,
can you
complains of
can you face the camera a little better?
Yeah, you getting me?
Yeah, for you to face the camera a little better.
All right, you getting me on the camera now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So what we would do is, if I have somebody who has been arrested, and that person complains of some medical issue, first of all, I won't take that person to the jail because the jail will refuse that person. So I have to take that person to the hospital, and that person will have the discharge document. I have to have the discharge document from the hospital to accompany me to the jail and give it to the jail to say I did take him or her to the hospital, and the hospital deemed them okay to come to jail. Yesterday incident, it seems like people were more interested in serving the gentleman a rate than were interested in making sure that he was medically okay. No matter what he has done, the primary objective of law enforcement is the preservation of life. So once that man fell on the ground, whether he's faking it or not, it is not our place as law enforcement professionals. We're not medical professionals to say, oh, he's faking it. We don't have the training to say he's faking it. So the primary objective is to take him to the hospital. Every other thing becomes secondary. Primary objective is medical attention. We have to give him medical attention. To have that young man on the ground for what, 10 to 15 minutes being on the ground while they were arguing over whether the rate is going to be served or not was really concerning. The overall situation yesterday was much more about saving rate than the preservation of life, which is not the responsibility of which is the responsibility of law enforcement officers to preserve life, not to enforce the law just only. Part of law enforcement is preservation of life.
Okay, now the issues, given that you listened to the interview with the spokesperson and what the lawyers are, the number of days he has spent there, and the possibility that he could have also been interrogated by the NSA. At what point in law enforcement does NSA come in?
Well, I was reading and before I came on air, I was reading the even within the NSA, there is a 48-hour requirement. There is a 48-hour limit that you can detain somebody. So what comes in when you don't have enough evidence, but you feel this person is a person of interest or suspect, you can bring them into interview and you can detain them for 48 hours. That detention does not mean that you can torture them. In the case of the NSA, I don't see the situation of this case being an NSA situation. This is state law enforcement. There is nothing about this case that reflects national security. So the idea that NSA was involved is very concerning. The involvement of NSA is very concerning unless LMP has some sort of classified information that points to national security threat. Everything about this case is arson. So arson is a law enforcement issue. There is no reason why NSA should be involved, because when NSA gets involved, it enters into apparent torture territory. And this guy is protected by the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. So he had to have representation. They had to make sure that they don't keep it beyond the 48 hours requirement, and that they don't compel testimony from him, because he has Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. So to compel a testimony from him is concerning, because that testimony may not be admissible in court because it was compelled under duress and without representation of counsel. So the involvement of NSA outside of any national security concern is concerning. Shouldn't have happened. With that said, again, I went back to the table Clarence, just listening to the police spokeswoman. There are questions we have to ask. Let us not politicize this issue to the point where we dismiss what the police is saying. Mm-hmm. Because I myself, when I listen to the spokeswoman, I myself will have some questions for this young man. The Capitol building fire was very, very noticeable. This fire was not something that happened under the ground. The building was on fire. And according to the spokeswoman, they met him at the Capitol building around 6:40. I think the fire started before then, if I'm not mistaken. If the fire started before then, what did he do as a young man? If he noticed the fire, because that fire was clearly noticeable, what did he do? Did he see the fire? Did he call the police? Did he call Speaker Kofi to say, hey, there's something going on here? So his presence there in the midst of such a fire is concerning. So at the very least, he's a person of interest. At the very least, he's a person of interest in that incident, because he was on scene. When the fire was going, he's one of the people on scene. When we get on scene of incident like that, and somebody is there, we're not letting that person go. We are detaining that person to ask a few questions before we let them go. Get their contact information and all these things before we let them go. Because that way we can get them later. If we establish our suspect, we can get them later. So the initial interaction with law enforcement was appropriate. But to keep him beyond 48 hours is the concerning part. And to engage in any form of alleged torturing is even more concerning.
Now, there were security people around the Capitol. There were different other people there. Do you think all of them should be called in for questioning? Because it was not just him there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Complete your question, Julius.
Yeah, I said it wasn't just him there. A whole lot of people that live far away from the center of town usually come to town very early to their workplaces because of traffic, beating traffic, and all of that. So you have a whole lot of these people around their workplaces very early hours. So I am asking if all of the people that were at the Capitol at that time before the fire started, whether they should be questioned.
Definitely. So take for example, when you see the fire like that, the evacuate if people were being evacuated, people were there. All those people are people that you have to contact because those are witnesses at the very least, and at the most potential suspects. At the very least, they are witnesses. At the most, they are potential suspects. So if you see a fire going, everybody there, you have to stop and collect all their information. And this is where if you have more people there and certain caliber of people were targeted, this is where people feel it becomes a matter of politics now. Be like, okay, why weren't these other people who were there, the other security personnel, if there were security personnel there, why weren't stopped, interview, and consider persons of interest? Why was this gentleman? Oh, is it because he's linked to Speaker Kofa? That could go to his link to Speaker Kofa increases the level of interest in him because Speaker Kofa made a post about Alamo, and we understand what Alamo means within the context of Texas and the United States. So all those things add up, increase the level of interest law enforcement officers will have in him as a person because of his connection to Speaker Kofa. So that's not wrong to have that perspective. Equally so, that perspective should then be backed by evidence. If that perspective is on its own, then you have to release him. If you don't have anything beyond the fact that he just connected to Kofa, but you don't have any physical evidence connecting the incident, then you have to release him. Then you don't have anything until you conduct your investigation and have enough probable cause now to establish him as a suspect. But if you cannot establish him as a suspect and you are arresting on the basis that he's connected to Speaker Kofa, there where people feel that the investigation turned into politics. But it is all of them. Everybody in that place should have been stopped at the very least, identified and released, and then everybody look at in a different way.
Given
you cannot focus on one person because of that connection to Speaker Kofa.
Now, given the situation up Capitol Hill at the time and the possibility that anything could have happened, whether it was a riot, a demonstration, or whatsoever, and we know that on many occasions we saw police officers around during the day and all of that, should they have continuously manned that vicinity throughout the day and the night, or what?
And this is where your question is very important because this is where people have concern and this is where people accuse LMP of being political. Because the argument has been made that the only time LMP shows up to the Capitol is when the majority bloc is present. When the minority bloc, the Kofa group is present, they don't show up, they don't provide protection. So LMP, understanding the risks associated with the situation, should have they have law enforcement responsibility across the breadth and length of Liberia. I'm not sure if the Capitol has some sort of security or police responsible for the Capitol. Well, LMP and the Morel City Police should have a jurisdiction at the Capitol building. So because they have jurisdiction at the Capitol building, there should have been some sort of coordinated effort, especially when that post was made, to be able to increase security at the Capitol. So LMP and Morel City security bodies responsible for protecting the Capitol can share in the responsibility or the blame for the Capitol catching on fire. So the question is, was there security there? If there was security there, what were the security officers doing that the Capitol building caught on fire? So then, if they don't know how the Capitol building caught on fire, can it lend credence to the argument that it was electrical fire? So there are so many perspectives one has to go through to be able to reach a conclusion. If you just zone in on arson from the beginning, it takes away from your ability to assess other aspects, other possibilities in this situation, to entertain other possibilities that maybe it's electrical fire, maybe it was accidental fire, or it was intentional fire. When you focus on intentional fire, you take away your ability to entertain other possibilities, thereby raising credibility of efforts.
And then bringing in the human rights issues and the rule of law issues relative to what happened with Tom yesterday. I know there have been other complaints from political people that some other people were arrested. They haven't seen them yet. But what what does it say for the face of the country, state security in terms of rule of law? What happened on yesterday?
Simply put, it's not good. That entire video was very concerning because number one, that video, the optics of the video was completely wrong. It was completely embarrassing. You cannot be focused on serving a rate while a young man is lying there for 10 to 15 minutes. Apparently, he fainted. That means you don't have any regard for human life. Even you, the video shows that you don't have any regard for human life. That's a serious problem. I'm telling you right now, if as a law enforcement officer, I'm not taking custody of somebody who's complaining a medical issue from another person until that person who's turning over custody can show medical paper that they took the person to the hospital and the doctor cleared them. I am not assuming custody because when you assume custody, you become responsible for the person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are responsible for the person that's in your custody, that's a serious problem. Did you take the person from whom you took custody of this person? Did they show you medical show that a doctor said this guy was okay? Did you ask them if they take him to the hospital? I'm not serving a rate. If that person is on the ground, I'm not serving a rate. You're going to take him to the hospital, make sure he's okay, then I will serve the rate. So the optics was bad. Also, what it does is if the guy injury was as a result of an apparent torture, the entire case, it puts the entire case in jeopardy. In addition to some of the statements made at the press conference, if the evidence that was provided by this man was under duress or was obtained in violation of the constitutional right, then the whole case is going to be thrown out and all the evidence gathered will not be admitted in court because they will say the evidence was in violation of the constitutional right. It becomes, to avoid being academic here, it becomes an issue of the fruit of personal tree. Every evidence obtained from that guy, evidence obtained as a result of the information provided by that person becomes inadmissible in the court of law. So it can be, the article is wrong, is wrong. In terms of professionalism, it's also wrong. Nothing about the incident yesterday reflects well on the Liberian security apparatus.
Well, given our interconnectedness with the global community, especially with the US and how they take these kinds of things seriously, what could be your advice to the police, the security sector of the country, how they go, because they have a responsibility to execute. They have to investigate the fire, whether it was an arson or it was natural means or whatsoever, whatever it is, they have a responsibility. And if it was arson, they have a responsibility to find out who or did that and prosecute them. It is their responsibility. But what could be your advice to them in the conduct of their duties?
Just do your job the right way. Avoid trying to please political people. Don't try to tailor your investigation to people's statements. Let's be guided by the evidence. Avoid getting yourself into investigation that you have little to do with. Let the fire people do their fire investigation and you do your criminal investigation if criminal actions is alleged. Stop getting yourself mixed up with the fire issue. You are dealing with the arson from a criminal perspective. Gather your evidence based on that. If the fire people if you ask them, hey, if you guys say arson, what did you say? Okay, we observed this. This burning happened. This thing happened. Okay, you put it in your statement of probable cause. Then you now have the responsibility now to be able to investigate it by developing a suspect. Like if he's the young man, what's his name? Thomas Eckridge. Thomas Eckridge. If you see him as a suspect, you don't have to rush. There is the statute of limitation on arson is not 2 months. I'm quite sure the statute of limitation is long. So you don't have to rush the investigation. By rushing the investigation, it's only that you're trying to politicize it. You take your time, you be methodical on your investigation. Because you already have this person information. You go to the court and tell them, hey, this guy is a person of interest in this investigation, and we want you to restrict his movements. And the court said, yeah, he has to be, your movement has to be, tell his passport if he has one, report to the police every day, and things like that. While you conduct your investigation, you build your case. Because you have to understand, the case you are building is not just to arrest. The case you are building will be the basis for prosecution. It will be the basis for developing more evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this gentleman was involved. He was the one he was one of the perpetrators of if it's arson, he was one of the perpetrators of this crime at the Capitol building. So you have to be careful how you develop your case, because the ability to develop a very comprehensive case is critical to a successful prosecution. If you cannot develop a good case, you will not have a good prosecution. And because they are rushing this whole thing, there are so many missteps that can come in handy for the defense team if people are arrested and taken to court for prosecution.
Well,
So LMP do have just approach this issue with a level of professionalism, patience, detail expected of you as professionals.
okay.
Do not allow yourself to be sucked up into the politics of the day. Do not. That's a professional body. You have to behave in a professional manner.
Now, there are other issues concerning rule of law happening across the country. There was, I don't know if you follow this one from Lofa, where someone was allegedly murdered. Some people of interest or suspects were arrested, and one of those who said, who allegedly said he saw something or could have attested to who did what, died in a police cell, and in the morning was discovered hanging with his shirt in what was believed to be an alleged suicide. That was in Lufa, and that led to the angry mob burning the police station and the courthouse in that part of Lufa. How do those things reflect on the police?
Let's understand one thing right here. You may disagree with Liberia and the way the police conduct themselves. You may disagree with things, but it is not a justification. It is not a justification to set up government property on fire. It is not. It is absolutely not a justification. You may disagree with LMP. I understand we have to channel our frustration, but we have to channel the frustration in the right way. We cannot be burning property like we did. We not in August, April anymore. Where Arab people building and they pay millions of dollars to. We can't be doing that. That said, again, about the issue of somebody dying in police custody, let me give you this example. Let me give you how important it is as police officer that you have to, once you take custody of a person, you are responsible for that person. Let me tell you, there are instances where people have died in police custody here, and the investigation shows that acted negligently, and our officer was tried, was prosecuted for that, and no family got millions of dollars because their relative died in police custody. Once you take a prisoner, it is your responsibility. In this case of this person, from what I gather, like you said, it was a death, and the person admitted that they had information who committed the crime. It was a crime, and they had information on that. And the next, this person was hanging in what they appeared to be a suicide. Now, when did the police know that this? When did this person tell them that, oh, I had information? Was it before they put him in jail, after they put him in jail with the other people? And even when he told them, they didn't try to separate him from these other people. Because remember now, these people in there, if he's trying to snitch on them or speak against them, their motive right there. They have a motive right there to do something to him. But the police take the necessary step to protect him after they knew that he was a key witness, that he had information. These are questions that, but anytime somebody dies police custody, it does not look well on the police. It does not look well at all. So there should be an investigation. If it is suicide, yes. If you can establish that it's suicide, fine. But you cannot go into an investigation with one thinking. You have to go into the investigation entertaining every possibility and allow yourself to be guided by the evidence. But to answer your question directly, it does not look good for the Liberian National Police. It does not look good for the Liberian. And there are other instances that have not been looking good for the Liberian National Police. And they will just have a responsibility now to be able to do the right thing and investigate that appropriately.
Did you read the Daily Observer story with the reporters? Even the president released a statement about what they believe was alleged harassment on the part of the police over the reporting they did in the death of the Boulevard Palace hotel manager.
Yeah, I did skim that story. The reporters being harassed, allegedly being harassed by individuals, police, I believe, relative to their reporting that the incident may not have been the suicide. If that is true, why are you arresting this for reporting? Why? That means to say, they say where there is smoke, there is fire. If you are harassing them for reporting something, not true, why can't you just tell them, say, hey, provide counter evidence? And you see, again, when we talk about these things, people think we are trying to be critical of LMP. No, all we want for LMP to do is to do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Just avoid the emotional aspect of the discussion. When you get on these things, things are not always as they appear. In investigation, as a detective, the first story is almost always not the real story. When somebody explains something to me, I take that word and I go, I fact check it along with other things. So take, for example, Julius Jess, I stopped Julius Jess. Julius Jess tells me that, I was coming from, I said, my man, where you coming from? Oh, I'm coming from the building right here. I just came from in the building. I stopped Julius Jess at OKFM. And Julius said, oh, I just came out of OKFM. Then when I go check with OK, they say, oh no, but Julius has not different. I just saw Julius car pulling up. So Julius lied right there. So now I have to find out from Julius why you lie. Because Julius gave me a story but in front of OKFM. So if I just assume what Julius told me is true, I have missed the possibility that Julius may have lied to me for some other reason. I just assume because Julius works at OKFM, so Julius standing for OKFM, he came from OKFM. When I'm investigating a crime, I have to go and ask, hey, did Julius just come out of the building? And the people tell me, say, yes, cool. And they tell me, no, Julius, as a matter of fact, Julius don't be in the building this time. He probably just came to work. Now I have to ask Julius, hey, you say you just came from the building, but why you telling me that when people tell me they didn't see you in the building? Now I start Julius lie. Why am I saying this? When you go on the scene of this incident, people got on the scene, and I think I heard they say all indication is an apparent switch is anybody can say that. But when you are involved in this investigation, you don't make those utterances. You allow yourself to be guided by facts. So by attacking a journalist for reporting something contrary to what you say, it's a problem. That means the journalist knows something, and whatever the journalist is saying has some semblance of truth to it, and you don't want it to come out. So you don't attack the press for reporting. If you feel reporting is not consistent with facts and is defamatory, you have the court there. The court can give you the ability to sue somebody for defamation or libel. We have to use the system we have. That's the window where the system will work. But attacking the journalist makes it look bad.
Well, given where we have reached in this case, is it fixable? Can it be fixed?
In terms of the fire situation?
Yes, the fire incident.
Well, there have been so many egregious violations that even if you try to fix it, you have to start from all over. And what do I mean is the statements made from the beginning of the case of the whole situation prejudice the case, because now the people in power, the way they spoke about it, make it seem like the investigation was going to be tailored towards it being arson. So whatever evidence you gather, intend to do it, so you may have ignored other evidence. That's the first the political aspect of it. And the violation of rights. You keeping somebody for 8 hours without a lawyer present and things like that. That's a clear violation. So whatever evidence they present, it can be admitted in court. So now you have to go back to the drawing board and gather evidence to investigate this thing using a much more broader perspective than just a narrow perspective. You have to entertain the possibility that it could be an arson, it could be an electrical fire, it could be somebody accidentally set it on fire and things like that. No. But I genuinely do not believe that if the government of Liberia goes to court with this person and this person has a decent lawyer, has good legal backing, I do not believe there will be a guilty conviction. Because the evidence, if you don't have direct evidence linking this person to this incident, and the evidence you got is some sort of, it was coerced, it was gathered in violation of constitutional rights, this evidence will not be admitted in court. And if the only thing you have is that, he was present on the grounds of the Capitol at the time of the incident, well, there were other people present too, and he had a reason to be there. He works with the speaker. He's been working there for what, 7 to 8 years. So if the substance evidence you have is not strong enough, every other evidence you gather in violation of the person's rights won't be admissible in the court of law if this person has a good lawyer.
Now, something just came to my mind before the arrest of this guy and whatever investigation went on with him. The police boss had already said they had the interview we did yesterday. He said they have what evidence to point to it being arson. Right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when the police when Chief Sue spoke at the press, I'm sorry, Chief Como, my apology. When Chief Como spoke at the press conference the other day, before then, when the president went on the scene, the president called it hooliganism, without us knowing first happened. That alone prejudiced the investigation. When Chief Como spoke, he said, well, we didn't want to call it an arson and things like that. Then in the front of that, in the press conference, he said from the beginning, based on what they saw, based on everything, from the beginning of the situation, from the beginning on the scene, they considered they saw it to be arson. So it's almost like you already had a crime in mind based on the fact that you think somebody committed it. So now you investigate it based on that. And that's an issue.
Yeah, so what I'm saying
from multiple perspectives.
Yeah, what I'm saying, if they
have an incident. Go ahead, Julius. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if they had this weighty evidence for which in the news conference he said they could, they are at the completion point to say it was an arson, and then arresting someone later to get evidence out of him again, was that necessary?
No, it was not. If you, and that's the thing that makes it confusing and a bit sketchy. That's why people have issue with, because if you have evidence, then arrest. Don't consider these people persons of interest. So arrest them, apply for search warrant, conduct residential search warrant, vehicle search warrant, things like that to play your case. But you can't say you have evidence to arrest and then you take somebody into custody and keep them for 48 hours and the person come out looking health situation. You can't say that. Because that's a problem. If you arrest this person, you have to arraign them within 24. They have to see a judge for arraignment within 48 hours. If you arrest them, they have to have a lawyer present. You have to take them to the court for them to make an appearance and for a bond hearing. And if the judge deems them not to flat rates, the judge can keep them in jail until the duration of the trial. You have to go through the court process. But to just take this person and say you arrest and keep them for how can you arrest somebody and for more than 48 hours the person did not go before a judge? Because the Liberian law requires that you present somebody before the judge within 48 hours of the arrest. So if this person was on arrest, they didn't see a judge. If they were not on arrest, they were person of interest, you cannot keep them for more than 48 hours. So either way you put it, it raises question the evidence LMP claim to have. Is the evidence you have, is it as a result of coercion from this person, or it was evidence that is free, that is independent of this person's interview?
Okay, now, you've been law enforcement for some time, so let me pick your mind. Let me pick your mind on possible scenarios. Let us say this was an arson. I'm not saying it is, but let's assuming without admitting that this was arson. Is it possible? Given the fact that you had two sides dueling and fighting it out of Capitol Hill, that either of them or people following them could have put the fire there.
You see, Julius, this is what happens when you have a broader perspective on an incident. So
what my question is would any of the sides have motive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when you open your mind to the incident, this is the idea. You have to entertain everything. You have to in the possibility that hey, this fight could have been said by the minority black, by the majority black. It could have been electrical. It could have been said by a lone person, a person acting outside of the control of the speaker could file anybody. When you do that now, you have to when you do that now, you let the evidence guide you. So who's to say when I said by the minority or the majority to put minority black into parliament? Because you wouldn't consider them in this whole thing. Nobody has. You the one of the first person I've heard ask that question. Is it possible that the majority black will set the fire to put on the majority? I mean the minority black. So those are questions that you ask. When you have an open investigation, this is how you proceed. You allow yourself to be guided by the evidence. But because the investigation was tainted from the beginning based on the pronouncement by people in power, it makes it difficult for them then to look at it from a perspective other than the fact that it's an arson and we're going to prove arson.
His name is Alfred Johnson. We have him here. Let us take some calls on the show now. Perhaps some concerns that you could respond to. Before we let you go, you're a very busy man, but always thanks for taking up your time from the days of the previous administration up to present. That you have always been this critical and also commending of the police when they did the right thing. You've been critical when they did the wrong thing. You have not changed. You have remained the same. 777-700-995, 555-995. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you, that chair. And let me say good evening to my brother Alfred overseas. Activist Martin and I call it from Luja. I'm going to make to you, Julius. This is about time that you rethink the status quo from the Big Brother building deliberation. But it is not the first time. The last time I listened to him, just that he has done a thorough research on it. Julius, we should be honest here. Even I, as an activist, I'm still baffled in my mind that why would everyone get 20 fingers at the fanatic Kofa? It is because he decided to stand by the law. It is because that he sees to himself as a counselor, and if he go against the law, there will be some weak approach activities to it. But we have to think about the board here now. Anybody at any point in time can set the capital very ablaze. Even Richard Nangweku, who is the current speaker of the national legislature, I remember when it was hot for fire in Banana Essay, there were alleged allegations that in fact there was gasoline that was used on oil to get fire that killed roughly about 5 persons, including his mother. So it is questionable now that we should reach in the Tarako and start to think beyond reasonable doubt and just start pointing fingers.
Okay.
I'm urging the police, in conclusion, please, I'm urging the police to think beyond, not to look at one side of the coin, but to also look at all of those variables that are leading to the burning of the capital that brought our democracy to a standstill.
Thanks so kindly as well. This person says, that's Richard Pala from New Georgia Estate, Palava Hut. Please ask a guest if you are a person of interest and you are invited the first time and you come and after the inquiry you left and went home and left your house and refused to come upon another invitation, even attempted to leave the country. What should the police do? Okay, he's jotting down those concerns. Let's see who's on this side again. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
I'm James from Canasio.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one point the police will be looking at is this, right? When the crisis was going on at the Kaba building, you have the state security that were, that were barricading the area, the area on the police, like even staffers to enter the ground of the Kaba building was very difficult. And you also have security for the Kaba building. So why those people, can go through investigation too? Everyone not vulnerable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so kindly. He's concerned about the security at the Capitol. Are they being investigated too or not? Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Julius, thank you. This is D. Erikpai here. And to answer that broader question, the police could not investigate her own people simply because our president...
That you the man ask?
Of course, Julius. I will have to answer some of the things now. Simply because our president prejudiced the investigation. Julius, the president got to the scene, condemned the incident, and labeled it as an act of banditry and gangsterism. That was, let me quote him well. He said, this is an act of banditry and gangsterism. How did he reach a conclusion? So, can the police IG now come up with any investigation to contradict that of what a boss said? That's why you see the kind of situation, you leave them with the professionals. But I understand maybe the president was so vexed, he was not happy, so he made a statement. Now it made it has clouded. Now, on the second part, the police spokesperson said this morning on your sisterly show that the man faked his illness. How did she know that? You see, we have to stop this thing. When you're a police person, that job is a professional job. It is your duty. When the man say he's sick, take him to hospital, make sure he's guarded by the Liberian National Police. You can just conclude you're not a medical person. Okay? So why is it, Julius, look at this, why is it that the police, they don't even invite members of the majority bloc? Everybody should have been person of interest in this matter. But because the president made a particular statement, everybody started to look at the Kofa block, which is wrong and unacceptable. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius Moali here.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon, Alfred.
But by the way, Mo, were you contacted by the police? Because people say you were passing around Capitol Hill that day when the incident happened, or you were there. What did they say?
So, police, they all.
Ali, good afternoon. How are you, my brother?
I made a comment, which we all were expecting this pronouncement for the how you call it, the MCC qualification thing, pre-qualification.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a post that said tomorrow will be a watershed news. And so there were people passing on social media to say that, oh, it happened coincidentally the next day the incident happened in the Capitol building. So the police they did call me and asked what was the interpretation of my post. So I explained to them that my post was relating to the MCC thing, which in fact I think I made a post about it, and you called me and said, but I am not seeing it yet on the MCC website.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yeah, we have got the information confirmed. The MCC person I called the president to congratulate him and all. So that morning I was going to work and I saw the fire, and right away I in fact instructed my guys, the water steward truck, to come there. We're passing through the mansion and then the police were in haste. They were like, no, go on the other side, go on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So
So by the time you were driving past, the police were already there at that time.
Yeah, it was like around 7 in the morning or so.
Okay.
That time the fire really blazing. I called the fire truck. But Julius, I respect Comrade Alfred Johnson. He's a very professional person. Now, in my opinion, I believe the police is listening to most of these points. Maybe prudent, to call the police so that some of the points that Alfred raised, they could react to it or clarify. So
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just so we can hear the police on the side of it, because Alfred raised questions that everybody will ask. And I also like the fact that, he will say, this is concerning. That is left for the police to come and clarify those.
We'll make efforts to see if we can bring them in on tomorrow and put these questions to them.
Yeah, that's just the point I wanted to make.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, Mo. Let's take a few more calls, and then we will, just two more. Our next guest is already here, so let's take two more calls. Welcome, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, every time I call from Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just show the bar for police, Julius. You see, we vote up a bugger sometimes to not repeat the OT what happened on the past government. And then, if you look at today, the same thing what happened, the police are, because if you have an issue today, and then you come in with almost like politics in it. When the Americans come for the bombs are all the ones are. So I advise the police to take the politics out of it.
But my man, arrest too. That I'm balancing story. You gotta get reason. You gotta get lead. Something gotta lead you to arrest someone. So it's not because the two sides fighting. So the police gotta arrest people from both sides. It is information that they will get that will mean to arrest people.
Yeah, I agree. But when you look at it, the information you take what is causing, we are not getting the information because if people are arrested or based on the information what they get, it means no need to ask them for another evidence for information. So I tell to them for them to stay away from politics and do their work as professional people so we can get the new things done.
Okay, thanks so kindly. This may be the final one. Welcome. Let's hear you, Assistant Minister Cooper pass away.
Thank you, Julius, and good evening to my friend and brother Alfred. I just want to ask a simple question on the show, Judah. I think yesterday when the brother in question was at the court and he fell off, prior to that, people said he was tortured, he was this, he was that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, can you please call to the AMAC hospital to please give an update on his medical history, please?
Well, I don't know if
they can't release them.
They won't.
Privacy issue.
They won't do it.
You have to do that because
they won't do it. The hospital will not do it.
They won't do it. That's a no hospital release somebody medical record. No.
They were tortured by NSA officer. They were tortured by police. These are human rights issues, and you have some team on the integrity of the government. So I think the best thing is the government should summon the hospital to give up medical report in order to save the image of the government. Yes, because people taking the man's life, political and health issue. People sit on the radio, they call this man was tortured, this man attempted sort of mark. All those information is wrong for him. People feel they're doing well for him, not doing well for himself because tomorrow at the end of the day, if mistakenly the government being your sort of man, it will not affect me, it will only affect those that on Facebook live. So
allegedly too, because you don't know if it happened, so you can't say people lying too. So you that say you want record, but you already get judgment. You say the people lying. My man, they put not do it, man. See you. Okay, thanks so kindly. We'll see if we can sneak up, but I don't think it's possible. So yeah, we come back to you, Alfred.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. Let me greet a couple of people first. My dear brother, young man, Macklin Renner. Hope you are doing. Ali, my man, we'll talk later. I'll hit you on WhatsApp. Cooper, pass away. You know, the problem is, Cooper, how are you, my Bonneville connection? But let me, Cooper, when it comes to a medical record, that's a privacy issue. That record cannot just be released. Now, what happened is, the defense, take for example, right? The defense or the prosecution can seek a subpoena for to subpoena the medical record to prove torture or not. You understand me? So that's what we talk about the process. The legal process has to be followed. You cannot just go to the hospital and say, hey, give me the medical record. Wouldn't they be able to release that record based on a subpoena or warrant from the court, a competent jurisdiction? Then they will take that record and present evidence of a crime or of violation of the right or lack thereof. That's the first thing. They said the police didn't complete the interview with the police book lady on Clarence Jackson's show this morning. So I don't know if she said it or not. But if she did say that they're making that statement again, this is why I see a subject. I remember this example. I remember when I went on this cruiser and the court siren. Yes.
We are having issues of the network here. Hello. Can you repeat what you said? Can you repeat what you said? We're having some issues of the network.
I want to give an example why it is important as police officers you should have no authority over any expert. I was the crew, Gasman. You get me?
It is still breaking up. It's still breaking up. I don't know if it is our network or yours, but try it again.
Since the interview started, so you getting me, Julius?
Yeah. Better.
Okay.
Oh. Network is bad. Network is bad. We still not hearing him. Okay, we'll just take him directly. Yeah.
Can I complete my? Can I end my
section?
This?
Yeah, sure.
So I was trying to address the issue about the police spokeswoman said the man was acting fake. Coming from the gas pump, and there was a shooting. It was in front of me. I mean, not right in front of me, but it was in my direction of travel. When I got on the scene, this person had been shot in the head. I'm looking at this person, their eyes all out. Obviously, the person is dead. But I cannot go on the radio to say it's 10-7 that the person died. No, I cannot. You know why? Even though I'm sitting there, I know the person is there, but I'm not clothed with the authority to speak like that. Because guess what? There is something they call in medicine, the medical people can tell they call agony breathing. When a person is dying, the person taking that kind of struggle breath, the agony breath, that kind of breath. That indicates the person still has some sort of life in there. Imagine me going on the air and saying, oh, the person is dead. And then that person breathe a little. Now, that person is taken to the hospital, the person event that person's family, I can be subject to a lawsuit or this because the person, when I go to court, they say, are you a medical professional to decide whether the person is dead or not? No. Do you have any medical training to determine whether the person is dead or not? No. So you don't, but you just pronounce the man dead when you could have taken life-saving measure. So all I had to do was do a CPR on this guy. Despite me seeing this man brain matter is out. The point here is you don't have authority to speak on certain issues, you don't speak on it. The police spokeswoman, if she said that, she's not a medical professional. People will tell you stories about that. When you get on the scene of incident, people tell you, say, oh, they want that one. You have to go by what the person tell you unless the evidence say otherwise. You can't say this man is faking his sickness. You don't know people's medical history to determine whether the person is faking it or not. And you're not a medical professional. If this person complains of pain, your objective is to take them to hospital because assuming the person lied 9 times, that 9 out of 10 times, that one time the person may be saying the truth, and you say the person lied 9 times, so you're not taking care of the person, and at the end of the day, the person dies. Into problem. So as a police spokesperson, you cannot determine the person's medical condition just by looking because you're not clothed with the authority to make that determination. Somebody asked the question about if you are a person of interest and you attempt to leave the country, what can the police do? Like I said previously, the police has the ability through the investigation to go through the Ministry of Justice, seek advice from the Ministry of Justice where they can go and ask the judge to restrict this person's movement. So we don't have the person as a suspect yet, but the person is a serious person of interest. And the judge, they can present what they have to the judge, and the judge can make the determination, oh yeah, this person of interest. Hey, John Brown, I need your passport. John Brown, I need you to report to the police every 24 hours. Tell them whereabouts every 24 hours. The police has the ability to do that until they can clear this person as a person of interest, or they can get this person to a suspect and thereby seeking warrant against them. So I think that was all of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that should be it. Yeah, but no problem, Julius. Thank you for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure informing the Liberian people. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. Let's take this quick break. Some of our sponsors right here. We'll come back to you. Okay, this quick break right here.
Attention to all lovers of the good things in life. A house is not a home, and a home is the one place where you should feel relaxed and accomplished. Your home should reflect who you are. So, it's time to make that upgrade with minimal damage to your pockets. And I have the perfect solution for you. Home Sweet Home, located on Benson Street, between Center and Buchanan Streets, got you covered. From the kitchen, we have air fryers, juice makers, pressure cookers, freezers of all sizes, and all the modern kitchenwares you can think about. From the bedroom, we have top-of-the-line, exquisite beddings to give you that great night's sleep because you have earned it, and soft, comfortable towels for your bathroom. And in the living room, we have high-definition TV sets of all sizes, unique aerial rugs, classy curtains in all the colors you desire, wall paintings of different sizes and colors, furniture, and everything you can think about for the home. All that at unbelievable prices. We even have low voltage, high quality washing machines and dryers to keep your clothes fresh and new at all times. As a bonus, we have fashion accessories for both the young and the old, designer quality bags, hats, and rare jewelries. So if you love yourself, your family, and your home, it's time to treat it right. Visit Home Sweet Home on Benson Street between Center and Buchanan Streets for that needed upgrade. You can call them on 0886-834-944 or 0770-581-420. Home Sweet Home, for the love of a classy home.
Your favorite RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@kendejaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljkendejaresort.com.lr. RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Whisperers linger, they carve through the night. Echoes of choices that dimmed my light. Lost in shadows, my mind's a maze. Running from silence through endless haze. A weight on my chest, it pulls me below. A storm in my soul when no calm will show. I built these walls, but they're crumbling thin. A quiet scream buried deep within. My soul cries out like wings bound in pain, yearning for freedom, to feel whole again. Oh Savior, hear me, I'm lost in this fight. Bring your calm to my chaos, your peace to my night. The mirror reflects a face I don't know, a world full of noise where I can't let go. I'm chasing love that never remains, in a fleeting world of heartbreak and chains. The silence is heavy, but I feel you near. A whisper of grace dissolves my fear. I've wandered so far, yet you hold me still. Through fire and ashes, you bend my will. can be found. Oh Savior, hold me, I'm breaking inside. Bring your calm to my chaos, your peace to my night. If I fall, will you catch me? If I cry, will you stay? In the stillness, you're calling my fears away. Take this heart, make it whole. Take this pain, let it cease. In your arms forever, I'll find my peace. My soul cries out like a child seeking home, yearning for shelter where I'm not alone. Oh Savior, guide me, I'm ready to trust. Bring your calm to my chaos, your light to my darkness. Fade your shadows depart. Your love's a melody that mends my heart. No longer searching, I found my way. In your endless peace is where I'll stay.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. We cannot have our 5 o'clock guests. A bit of mix-up, but they all have to be on their way to Nimba County. So we'll make efforts next week to bring him here. We'll see how that goes next week. But this is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. So we are right here. A whole lot of things have been happening. The arrest agenda should be launched on tomorrow. So after tomorrow, next week, we'll see what will happen in that case. We are still very serious about the job business, issues of jobs in the country, whether in the private or public sector. We believe to give people a decent living, it has to do about jobs. It has to do about them earning a living. Earning a living. People do not grow and develop by begging. But I say, oh, my man, give me small thing. And all those kinds of things. Please talk to this person. No, I think it went off. Yeah. Okay, so jobs are very important. People have to work. And when they work, they have to be paid well. For our case, no, not many people are paid well. But how do we protect people working? Whether it's in government, whether it's in private sector, how do we ensure that our people are getting jobs? And the ones that are working, how are they protected at the places they work? How are we ensuring that the private sector is able, what are we doing as a government to boost the workings of the private sector so that they are able to pay people well, to employ more people? Because sometimes the slowness of the government in paying business owners, sometimes government owes businesses. Let's talk about small businesses now. Sometimes the government is owing them for a long time. They call it domestic debt. So the ability of that business to pay people more, pay taxes, and even employ more people or to expand into other things becomes difficult, because as and when they should receive payments, they don't get it. We know we are not at a level where the government is able to pump money into certain sectors. The times it was tried, whether it was the current, the past administration, the past two administrations, they tried doing something with small businesses. A whole lot of controversies came around them. They wanted to infuse some capital into Liberian businesses and all of that. But there were issues. So it's a whole cycle of things happening at the same time. And I believe it is important for policymakers, leaders of Capitol Hill, to look at these kinds of things to add value to the lives of the people of the country. This is how societies grow and develop. The rule of law is very important to all of these. Why will investors have confidence in the country? The rule of law, the issues of corruption not affecting them. Even before we come to roads and electricity and water, those kinds of things should be the guarantors that will encourage people to come and do business and to make your people work and to also develop the human capital of your people. The people of your country cannot just do manual jobs, less skillful jobs. It's not just about sweeping and being security, being store boss, store girl, or the working in the company they are at the very least and all of that. That is where education comes in. Whether it is formal, whether it is vocational, whatever it is. Whether it is skill upgradation in the workplace, these are all things that leaders think about to put together. And when you have more people working and earning well, you're also increasing the tax base of the country. You see, everything in a country works in such a way that if certain things are not properly operating, then there's a problem with the country. When the tax base increases, the budget will increase to do more things. No, government doesn't have money anywhere every year that they can go and take. Say, we come in pay roads, we come in do this and blah, blah, blah. To pay people. No, it is the taxes that are paid in a country that enable the running of government and its functionaries. So everything is intertwined. You go to these places of work, hear the horrific stories. Hear how Liberians are treated in their own country. See what they are paid. Even by entities that are earning a lot from resources. How do we add value to the lives of the people? Fellow Liberians, this is the call that all of us have. So we want to hear from you on this issue and all the issues tied around it. 0777 700 995 555 995 995. If you are not working, call and tell us why not. If you are working, you have issues, call. You know that. Let's hear from you. It is an important thing. If you are able to earn a living, you're able to provide for your home, you can think about building house, buying house, and all those kinds of things. The livelihood of the people has to be improved, and the government cannot continuously give excuses. Let me see what this person says. Let me read some of the messages that have come in so far. This person says, thanks for the talking points. A few years ago, it was estimated that 65% of Liberia's population is youthful. Therefore, our leaders must join hands and share ideas to provide opportunities for the young ones. If not, 10 or 15 years from now, we'll find ourselves in serious crisis. NS barely has texted that in. This person says, it was from the earlier conversation. Okay. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Thank you. My name is Aris, and I'm calling from Arsenal Street, Dorset Road.
Okay. Are you working?
I'm not working, but I'm a self-employed. I do cooking gas for living, but I've been affected by Mira Gas. Yes, because they do wholesale, they do retail. At the same time, they sell the wholesale to us for $23. At the same time, they supply the local home for $22. And the government know about it, and the Bureau Ministry they know about it. In the first place, they are doing their cooking gas on the budget bureau. It's not a place they're going to be doing the cooking gas.
No, hold on. Let's take it easy. You say you do what, cooking gas business?
Yeah, cooking gas.
That means you can produce it?
No, I can produce it. I can buy from them as a retail dealer, and they do it wholesale. They are saying they are saying.
Okay, hold on. Let's take it easy. You know, let's take it easy so that people understand that interventions could be made. So you do retail. You buy it from them wholesale.
Yeah.
To do retail.
Yeah.
But that's a form of work and a business you doing.
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm self-employed.
Okay, good. Now, so what are the constraints?
The constraint is they bring Lebanon men, they put out to 16th Street, they buy motorboat, they give it to people, they get the people local home for $25, and they give it to us for $23. If you check it around all year, nobody is selling cooking gas for $20 even in the first place. But because the farming ministry are being weak ministry for the one in this country, they need
okay. You buy from them wholesale, and you are saying they are allegedly also involved into retail.
Yes, I'm a retail. Yeah, I'm doing retail. They also are doing the retailing.
How much do you sell for retail?
I sell the retail $25. They also sell retail for $25. They tell it to the people local who while we are buying for them to supply the same people too.
Oh,
they also buy the motorbike.
Okay, I see what
they also buy motorbike. They give it to people to be supplying to people local who even all of them go report to one Lebanese man to 16th Street, right? And the government know about it, and they know all the filling stations in the town here. They are men they call Wasim very rude and aggressive, right? And
allegedly.
But I mean, the men must have each other.
Yeah, but here now we say allegedly because we were not there.
I agree. You as a journalist, you know, you have your point of view, but I'm telling you, how are in the system. And when we take complaint to the comment ministry, they don't do nothing about it. And that's one of the things I make it. I want to in favor of previous government because this is the same thing you are setting with the middle class because those people that can start off and that means they have got millions of dollars in those things, wholesale retail at the same time. Once they see you, they can open a link.
But you all that are doing retail, will you have the do you have the capacity to reach to the different homes if people need it and all of that? How have you been able to make yourself known?
For day one, because we started this thing was then since some part of 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009 up until now. What we used to do before, they used to supply the supermarket, the viewers store, the viewers selling point. They not used to do the local home service. They not used to do the home delivery. They used to supply us and the customer call who will do the retailing. But they was in there, he went ahead, bring one Lebanon man to 16th Street and he hired Phil Ladrine, paid them $93 per month. Buy moreover, give it to them. The man said one bottle, he gave them 200 free bonus. And, you know, scatter the men on the street, right? And nobody will leave somebody, and, you know, and in the first place, why they not did to us? And
okay, my man, let's find time and talk about issues. But thanks so kindly for letting us know.
I appreciate your advocacy, man. Today is one of your funniest shows today I ever listened to. Really. Because you speak the thing I really affecting my who and my children.
But do you have someone employed too?
How can I employ somebody in the daytime? I can't even sell one bottle because the minute that's not the minute do the guy with a 40 motorbike, 50, 60 motorbike. All the community they make that 7 point.
Okay.
You go open local shop. Sometimes we can even sell one. Sometimes it takes 1 week for you to sell 1 or 2 bottles. You have to send your children to school. You have to eat other things. That's what the men take up for all of the business. Let our colleagues then say the year closed.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius, how you doing?
I'm fine, yo.
Yeah, this is Kwame Abraham Big Daddy, and I'll call you this afternoon from my EW resident.
Hmm.
Julius, you know the issue that has to do with jobs in this country. The very first thing government need to put in place is to revisit that decent work bill. That decent work bill is not a decent work, it's an indecent work bill. You know, can you imagine, even the very government that we're talking about, the other entities, you're working in them, and then your salary cannot even allow you to take 500 as a loan from a bank? Can you imagine that? So, Julia, where are we going? When you work, and then how much you'll be keeping, how much your family will be eating, you know, before you can even think about building a house. So, Julia, is very much pathetic in this country.
But the issue about decent work and all of that, and what would be the least pay in a country? It's a technical thing to really talk about, because government cannot say, for example, the least pay should be $250 in a country if the means of getting that kind of money isn't there, especially in the private sector. Huh? Okay, we lost out on that person. Welcome, let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Brother Julius.
Mm-hmm.
What my concern has to do with the Chinese. When it comes to the business sector, the Chinese are using our.
What is your name, first of all?
We the entrepreneurs. The Chinese are taking off on the market in a sense that even they can't tell me they use our logo, our country logo, they work China and produce it. And it is not someone who from here produce that. It is themselves produce it and come and sell it on the local market. And now we as entrepreneurs, our ideas, all of those things, when we produce our own, they're not going because they're dominating, into our local market. So that's my concern.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Liberians are speaking out. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. What happened to this other line? Yeah, I can't sound. I can hear it always. I don't know what's going on. Hello. Okay. Leave the Lone Star line for now. Let's keep on the orange line. Let's see. There was an issue with this line. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Julius. This is Cornelius Bar. I'm calling you from Capital Bypass.
Okay, go ahead.
Julius, I have been affected to where I was working. I was dismissed illegally.
How do you know it was illegal?
Thank you. I was at Colony Casino. I got contract Colony Casino for 3 months. And I worked there for 4 months. The first month was on, they said, probation. The second month, and then after that, they gave me 3 months contract. I've been working there on the 22nd of December. I was working, and there's a guy there who is the second in command. He said I didn't speak to him. So I should go home from that day. That was the wrong and the crime committed, and I was dismissed.
But did you go to the labor ministry?
I did not go to the labor ministry because we have an agency there that is governing us. And the case went there. He said he was doing an investigation. I was called. He asked me what happened, and I explained exactly what I'm explaining now. At the end of the day, he sent me home. And I was replaced the same day on job for not speaking to somebody. So there are records there. The building is set up back. Camera is everywhere. So I don't think anybody will say, oh, the man did this and did that. So nobody has called me. Only what I received was my money that I worked for the few days. I went for it at a payday. And since that time, nobody is talking to me. I have talked, I have called, and I'm tired.
I suggest that you go to labor ministry.
I should go to labor.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have any connection to connect,
no, they're not connection. You don't need connection. Go and ask for the labor inspector general. I think his name is Charles Brown also. And they are supposed to be able to go after those kinds of cases.
All right. Thank
Okay. Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's on this end. Let's hear you. Let's hear you. We are discussing job business now in the country. What's your experience? Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, people like that. My name is Abraham Project Kala. I do join you from a resident in Broville, the people Christopolis. Yeah, Big Brother Jeff, what you saying, the topic on the discussion, what you saying is actually true. Big Brother Jeff, this government has to stand for the youth. You know what I mean? You go to school, you learn, go to be graduated from high school or even university, no job. Go in the private area, the private sector, Big Brother Jeff. People taking people from Lebanon just to give them, just to be give you instruction. We the Liberian, we are the one that doing the hard work. Then at the end of the day, you work, there will be nothing for you to show even tomorrow to your unborn generation. This is very much serious, people. Thank you for the topic on the discussion. You people really have to talk for us. The government need to do well for us. We voted this government for change. We need change. We're picking this government, we're picking the women. We need change in this country. Like we can keep going to school at the end of the day, nothing to do. You see the man will find your hair at the end of the day, man will take years upon years to go lay at the end of the day, get nothing to do. You just take one level to give from level in bring, you make a supervisor and use the librarian at the end of the day, you got nothing to achieve. So I just called to weigh in, people. Thank you so much.
Thanks so kindly as well. Welcome, let's hear you.
Good evening, Judah. How are you?
I'm fine. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is RK Kofi Koma. Call from Brazil.
Go ahead, sir.
Judah is going to be for Australia. I haven't been for Australia before. Carry a case to labor ministry. And then they send you to labor court. You will die.
Oh, why?
I think I experienced 3 years back in on the called George Colley to labor court. Well, the Lebanese man didn't pay me. He fired me. He suspended me. No warning. He stopped paying my money. Well, I could that clear myself. I can bring it to you about it. 1 year agreement. The time they repay far months, he stopped paying me. I go to him, he won't pay. So I went to labor ministry. Labor ministry sent for him notice of the assignment. He didn't appear. He ruled the case in my favor. Default. They went to after the rule there. They said after 1 month, the time for them to pay me or coming to rely, they took it to here's the lawyer now, Lafia Gu. You know Gu, and that's all? Lafia Gu, Councilor Gu. Those are the wicked people in Liberia. He took the case to the labor court.
No, that weekend bill. Everybody is entitled to lawyer.
Let me say, Julia. After he took it there, he never fought back there again. I went there. We prepared assignment. He didn't go. The labor court also, if we come for the years for the hearing, he didn't appear and they found another lawyer in place for him. And then they waiting for the case. Then they reserve ruling. Day of the ruling. Who went to the Colley office, the George Colley office, he spent almost 30 minutes there, and the case was at 2. He left at 1:45. 2 o'clock, they called the case, he was not there.
Which are the goons? And because we get 2 goons.
Lafia Gu, Councilor Gu.
The one that wanted to be representative in District 11?
So true, that the one that he was down there, I don't know where he is, there, how can I tell you?
Oh. But then I come and call him to because you are accusing him.
Okay, just call him. No, call him. Then he must give it and call him back. So after he told the case there, he left and they called the case at 2 o'clock. I got the ruling here with me. I can forget you. So after they called the case at 2, he was not there. They got to pay one. They got to call one lawyer. Call one lawyer and say you were representing him, and they will pay him to the father all in the ruling. And then they said they got to manage the case. We will go back to the labor ministry to start all over. It was 22 or 2 or also today. We stay on that case. So you want to die soon, carry a case to labor ministry, go to labor court. You will never live to tell the story. I'm a living witness. I can prepare all my documents from start to end. I can bring it to you tomorrow.
Okay, so what? The court rule in your favor or what?
The ministry rule in my favor. Good took it to the labor code, which is the
No,
code for
but was he your lawyer? Gu was your lawyer?
No, look, Gu was representing the Lebanese man.
But I talking. I say everybody is entitled to lawyer. Even if you ask a Liberian complaint against your employer, that your employer you complain against also has right to a lawyer. So he will find someone in Liberia that is his lawyer. It does not mean the person wicked, the person doing their work.
No, but the way I see it, Gu was the lawyer from the beginning, but they didn't show his law firm get associate as being a man, the lawyer.
But then what do you wicked now?
What made him wicked? He took a case to the labor court. He never fought by the day of the ruling again. I run after the president Gary, they were not there. They had found somebody, and then they went through the case. And then the ruling, they sent for them to counsel and hear the ruling. He went there the day he went there. After he went there, he spent almost 45 minutes when he left. Because I think the other kids they get a ruling. He left. Now George Cody called a case. We went into the court. He called a case Gu and I around. So they paid somebody to the father or another lawyer to the father to represent Ken associate. So after he keep now he say, oh, the Lebanese men they have too much, or they have too much. Two men noticed the man father even resigned for Ken associate.
So let's just fast forward to the ruling. What did the ruling say? Did it go in your favor or in the favor of the Lebanese men?
The ruling was sent it back to work for labor ministry again. The manner is. So the case if you don't call it, but the manner was able to we can get the Lebanese man another trial, come for another trial to the labor, Ministry of Labor.
What's your name?
My name is Arse Kofi Komba.
And what's the name of the Lebanese man?
No, that individual is the S-G Spray and Service.
What? S-G Spray Service?
S-G Spray and Service.
Okay. Okay, thanks so kindly. So someone has messaged me from Labor. He says the Employment Bureau of the Ministry of Labor is the bureau responsible to address such concern raised on your show, not the Inspectorate Division. Okay, thanks so kindly. Jackson Amigo Grant, Assistant Director for Employment Policy. So all of you who get issue with your employers, employment issues and that stuff, the first place to start from, the Assistant Director from Labor has just messaged to say when you go there, ask for Employment Bureau of the Ministry of Labor. They will start it from there. When you go there and you start it, then you let us know too. They will be on their backs. Sometimes too you can be wrong, not because you get and that's what I am. I can advise people properly. A whole lot of people have come to the station. Oh, they can explain. I can ask them to explain. Oh, they went. I say, but the way you talking here, the way you're looking at it, I don't think that radio thing here. Yeah, the radio thing we will talk, but sometimes it can spoil things. So I will advise them properly. Do this one, do this one. Sometimes they go do it, it can work. So 777-700-995, 555-995-995. The numbers to call. Let's see this one. Welcome.
Yeah, Julius. This is Wilbur Way.
Go ahead, Wilbur.
Thank you for having me. So, Julius, with regard to this labor-related issue of working of Liberia, the very setup of the entire system is meant for people to feel. So, let's consider the 2008 housing and population census. The life expectancy rate should be between 46 to 54 for men and women. The retirement age is 60. All right. So there are a lot of things when we hear that people will send to represent or don't talk about. The system is just a setup for failure, and you will work.
Hello? You going off? Hello. Okay. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Julius. My name is Douglas, and I come from Babanuse area, Maryland.
Who?
Douglas.
Douglas. That's a raw. That's a raw gribble name.
Let's forget that, my son. They labor ministry, my son. Look, with 15% carry complained this month, 2 or 3% will succeed, the rest will fail. Why is this problem? People complain about this labor ministry. Yeah, Julius. So they need to do more.
Okay.
These guys are very frisky. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think I got a labor inspector on the line. Charles Brown, are you the labor inspector?
Julius, thank you. Thank you for the topic. Happy New Year.
Many happy returns. Are you the labor inspector?
Yeah, I am the labor inspector.
So since you got a job here,
since
you got a job that today you calling me, when you used to be all capital, you'll be fighting for money, man. What they used to be on my lawn. You got this other prestigious job now. You can call.
I implement the government policy now.
Okay, you have listened to the calls and everything on labor ministry here. What can you advise the people?
Our windows are open. These are issues that we are addressing almost every day. The bad labor practices. There are people who just dismiss people illegally. Like you said, you are referring him to the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor is like a hospital. When you are sick, you go to the hospital. The hospital will not go around looking for people who are sick. And there are laws. We have quasi-jurisdictions in keeping with the labor law and that of the Decent Work Act of 2015. Now, our quasi-jurisdictions starts from you complaining first to the Minister of Labor. The Minister of Labor will attention your complaint, every complaint, to the Assistant Minister or the relevant subdivision within the ministry. One has to do with illegal dismissal, redundancy. You address those communication to the minister attention to the Assistant Minister for Labor Standard. Then the Assistant Minister for Labor Standard will assign those cases to hearing officers. Now, where people are in action with the law, even the minister they have the right to take an appeal. Some of the labor cases are being adjudicated, appeals go to National Labor Court. At the temple of justice, what happened there, what can happen there now, it is not within the jurisdictions of the Ministry of Labor. So many persons will say, oh, I went to the ministry and this happened, that happened. That's not how the law works. The law is about appeal. Every labor case is being adjudicated to the Ministry of Labor, whether in favor or against. The party has a right to take an appeal to National Labor Court.
Okay.
So the issue of somebody saying, labor issue directly with Bureau of Employment, no. The inspector is responsible like the police. We are responsible to arrest every situation. So the guy you were talking about can come to my office. I being the Inspector General of the country, I am there to look for these cases, bring it to the ministry and assign it to the relevant authority. So when I get the kind of cases, I send it to the Assistant Minister for Labor Standard. He will send it to the Bureau of Employment. He will send it to the hearing officers for hearing. When you have to do a hearing, there are mitigation too. When we get involved, we don't just go straight to the law. We send for the party, we cite them to a conference. Then we interpret the law. If the company sees that they don't want to go through quasi-jurisdiction, they want to do the settlement, we settle it and everybody go. The labor ministry is just there to serve as a witness. So the guy can come. We can pick up his case.